Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Touchdown Tech. This is episode 9. This is a lot of episodes. Episode 9, are you kidding me?
It's getting up there. We're going to hit double digits soon, the Big Ten.
The Big Ten's coming up quick. This past Saturday, Tennessee Tech got another win on the road in Lindenwood in Missouri, 52-28. They took care of business. They had some rain delays, but it didn't stop them.
No.
They kept rolling.
It's adversity, and they overcame it. Weather, who cares?
Yeah.
I'm sure they would have played through the rain, but I don't think the NCAA would allow them to.
Yeah, no, they had a couple stoppages, but like I said, normally the road team is really affected by stoppages, and when I saw that at first, I'm like, man, are you kidding me? Like, with all the things to happen right now, we got to delay the game. Did not matter for Tech. Matter of fact, coming out of the second delay, especially in the fourth quarter, when it was 38-28, Tech put on more steam.
Yeah,
they did. I mean, they played their best football in the fourth quarter and really just kind of stepped on their throat. I don't really know how else to say that. For lack of a better term, they stepped on their throat and they took care of business. 52-28 final score. I mean, that's just all you can say about it. 7-0.
Yeah, they stayed hot even throughout the delays. Clearly, Lindenwood did not.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't able to keep the momentum. First start to the game, Lindenwood they were competing a little bit, but Tech quickly pulled away. They moved on pretty fast from all that.
That's what I was going to say. It was kind of a slowish start on offense. However, once they got going, once that first touchdown was scored, it was a machine from then on out. You know what I mean? That ultimately led to 52 points. They ran the ball really, really well. 311 yards on the ground for Tennessee Tech football.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. That's kind of normal at this point. You know, I mean, this time last year when I was reading some stats and I would have to say that they rushed for 300 yards, I was like, I can't believe they did it. And now it's just like, they did it again. You know, they rushed for 300 again. No big deal. Quintel Quinn, he led the way, 135 yards on the ground. Jennings continues to be a factor. He had about 85 on the ground. Kokovis Paris, another good day running the football. 75 yards on the ground and a touchdown. That was an absolute statement, man.
Yeah.
Ran completely through the defender on the goal line, lowered his shoulder and lowered his helmet and drilled him. It wasn't targeting or nothing like that, but I'm just saying it was a good tough-nosed play from a quarterback that will do anything to win.
Yeah. I think he was like, I think they had stopped him running before that play had happened, and then he ran straight through him, and that really set a message early into the game. Yeah. Like, hey, you can stop us a little bit, but we are going to put the ball in the end zone.
No, I loved it. Especially for the first touchdown in the game that was scored from Tech. Like I said, it was a statement. You know what I mean? Like, we're here, we're going to play. You got us for 4 quarters and then some with the rain delays. So I love to see that out of the quarterback, and that fires the team up when they see their not their captain, but in terms their leader on the field lowering his shoulder and putting his body at risk to score a touchdown. That gets everybody fired up.
Absolutely.
That was awesome.
But overall, Lindenwood, I mean, we thought it would be a tough game, and Lindenwood did put on 28. That is impressive. But we kept moving. Mm-hmm. We thought it was going to be a little bit of a challenge, especially on the road, but honestly, not that big of a deal for Tech. And now that I think about it, we got SEMO this week, Gardner-Webb the next.
That's right.
That's homecoming. Both are at home, right?
Correct.
So if we can go on to Lindenwood on the road and beat them despite the weather conditions, I don't see problems with these next 2 games.
Yeah. Well, this Saturday, we'll kind of preview SEMO later on, but I will say this about this Saturday. And we talked to Coach Wilder about this in the interview. I mean, there's no shock now. I mean, he's on the thumbnail, he's in the title, so that interview's coming up pretty quick. Yeah. Don't you worry, it's coming. But what I was going to say is, it is a revenge game. It's a revenge game through and through. They beat you 34-3 last year. SEMO did in their own backyard. Tech is going to take this one personal.
Yeah.
They're going to take it personal, and they're going to take care of business at home. I'm very confident in that. But like we said, going back to Lindenwood, credit to Nate Glantz, man. That kid's a player.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns, 300 yards, no picks. He looked good, man. I had a feeling that he was going to have a good day because he plays good against everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's just a good player. He's one of the best quarterbacks in this conference. I truly believe that. Him and Kakoa, that was a really good battle to watch. Those 2 guys go at it.
Yeah.
Just answering score for score, because that's what it was. It was a back and forth affair. When they would score, Tech would answer them back, because that's just what good football teams do. And man, it was a really entertaining game up until Tech kind of pulling away there toward the end.
Yeah, and Tech's defense was not giving him an easy day either. 4 sacks for 25 yards, 12 tackles for loss on the day.
Yes,
that's insane. Those are good stats, and that means you were keeping pressure on him. And that's kind of what we talked about. One was keeping him confused last week, but you got to bring some pressure. You can't let dual threats have all day.
That's right. Yeah, they kept him under wraps running the football. You know what I mean? He didn't take off and do much. He had to kind of sit back there, trust his receivers, trust his offensive line, and deliver the football in places where, you had to get first downs and whatnot. But he was able to do that. He was able to engineer some really good drives. Lindenwood's just talented. They got a lot of good receivers too, is what I noticed, but they're not as good as Tech.
No one's good as Tech.
They're just not in that conference. No, we can say that because we're just media guys, but no one's as good as Tech right now. And they're at 12 games in a row. They've won 12 in a row. The highest streak in football right now, 12 games in a row.
In the entirety of football.
That is awesome. That's so cool. That Tennessee Tech has won the most games in a row than anybody.
Yeah, we were up there with like Memphis, and then Memphis lost, and now we are the sole contender for that number 1 spot.
Absolutely. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think?
I think let's stop keeping the man, the myth, the legend from the fans. They want to see him.
We're going to cut to the interview with Coach Wilder right now. Ladies and gentlemen, here with the head ball coach, Coach Bobby Wilder. Coach, I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Pleasure to be with you guys, man. I'm a big fan of the show. You guys do a great job.
I love that. How did you first find out about the podcast?
It was Wagner.
Okay,
Wagner filled me in, and that kind of spread around the team, and then that's when I said, let's get more people involved with it, because you guys put the time and the effort in. It's professional. It's well done.
I appreciate that
a
lot. I'm going to pick your brain a little bit now, if that's all right.
Sure.
You guys are 7-0 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Having a great year in year 2. What's been the key factors, in your opinion, to being so consistent all the time? Because the win streak has gone back to last year. You're at 12 now.
Yeah, it's about our process. It's about our focus on the program philosophy, which is aim high. And what that means is every moment, from the moment our feet hit the floor in the morning till our head hits the pillow at night, trying to be elite at everything we do. For the players, it's person, student, athlete. For the program, it's about the process of winning, and it's all over the place in our building. The players have it on a sweatshirt. We got them. We talk about focus on the process of winning, and if you think about those 3 words separately, very powerful: focus, process, winning. And then what we break it down into is 3 categories that happen throughout the week: planning, preparation, execution. So, for example, we'll play this game Saturday against SEMO. Then starting Sunday, we're into planning for Gardner-Webb. Wow. And then we work with the players on the planning, the process of the game plan, and the preparations all throughout the week, what we're doing during the week. And then the execution happens on Saturday. And then we just rinse and repeat. So we don't get caught up in what's the record, who's the opponent. We're so focused on our process, and that's what's carrying us through the success we're having right now, is how much better can we be? What can we do each week to get better? We have what we call IPD with the players. That's individual player development. So I'm talking to you about each week, what do you have to focus on to get better for your improvement that helps the team? And we stay focused on all those individual areas that lead to success on Saturday.
That's cool. So we got to get down to a science. That's really impressive. So got SEMO this week, Coach.
Right.
Is this what's the message to the team? Is this kind of another revenge game for you guys?
Yeah, we're always finding ways to take it personal. And we took it personal last year, how badly they beat us at their place, how that game ended. That was still an impactful loss to our program. At the time, we were undefeated in the league, and we went there and they beat us 34-3. So taking that part of it personal, what they did to us last year, we find ways each week of what we're going to take personal. And the way I explain that to the players, I don't know if you've ever seen the Netflix documentary The Last Dance with Michael Jordan.
Great.
Well, Michael Jordan was the master of finding things to take personal. Tom Brady the same way, and it gave the players examples of how competitive people are finding ways to be even more competitive. And part of what we're trying to engage in now as a team is a philosophy of we want everybody's best game. We have to have your best game, because we can't find out how good we are if we don't get the other team's best game. So take things personal, be ultra competitive, try to get people into a 175 play game. That's the length of a game is 175 plays. So can we keep playing with elite effort, which we do? I've been doing this 34 years. I've never been around a team that plays as hard as we play every snap. And now what we're chasing is elite execution. So take it personal. find ways to motivate yourself even more based on the opponent, and then find ways internally to challenge ourselves to play at a level that we haven't reached yet. We still haven't played at an elite level of execution. We play elite effort. We haven't played elite execution, and that's the goal this weekend against SEMO. Take it personal, elite execution.
I love that. I don't know about the viewers, but I'm ready to play SEMO.
Let's go.
You got me ready to go.
Let's pat him up.
I'll play anywhere you want me. What about, so you got Drew on the team this year at center. How has that been? That's got to be really fun to have him and to be able to coach him.
Dream come true.
Yeah.
As a father, I had the privilege of coaching his older brother, Derek, at Old Dominion all 5 years. Recruited Derek out of high school, played. He was a good player. Captain his senior year, was honorable mention all-conference, defensive end. Similar to Drew, had the opportunity to live with Derek the last year. So you think as a dad, they leave you in college, and then I got the one more year. So I've got the same thing with Drew now, and Drew's playing at an elite level. We knew he was a good player coming here because last year at Eastern Illinois, he was second-team all-conference center, and he's been the starting center pretty much since January, having a great academic experience. He's Dean's List in his master's program, project management, playing at a high level, veteran player who's played now almost 2,000 snaps in his career, so he's got that really good communication with the other guys in the offensive line. And we've had a couple of guys that have missed games, so the backup ones, as I call them, he's had to do a good job with that. So very proud of the player he is, the student he is, what a good person he is. He's a great roommate, cooks, cleans, brings value in that area. So it's a privilege to be able to coach him and spend time with him.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to go ahead and get Adam in here, and we'll get you out in a jiff.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am now here with Coach Wilder. I'm going to ask him a few questions.
Here
How
we
you
go.
doing?
Awesome.
So first question I wanted to say was you missed the, last season in the off season. Y'all missed the playoffs by just that much.
Right.
What was kind of the message heading in to, into this year? What was the message after just being that close to it?
Run it back.
Yeah.
That was our theme the whole off season. We were disappointed that even though we won our last 5 games, we didn't earn the right to get in. We were 7-5 last year. We didn't deserve to go. And the theme was to run it back, try to get all the elite players to come back in the portal area.
Yeah.
The portal area we're in now, you really need to motivate guys to come back.
Yeah.
And we lost 4 elite players on defense to the portal that all moved up to FBS level. So keeping the other guys was critical. We had 13 other players on this roster last year that were approached that could have left. And I truly believe because of the theme, run it back, they wanted to win a championship here outright and go to the playoffs and have a shot to compete for a national championship. Plus we started the Golden Eagle Collective, so we're now involved with RevShare. We had the ability to compensate some of our top players to keep them here. But that motivation was as much internal, Adam, as it was external. It was the run it back theme of being so disappointed that we didn't make it to the playoffs and setting the goal this year to win the OVC championship outright instead of the tie we had last year where it goes to a tiebreaker, win it outright and earn the automatic bid into the national championship tournament.
Yeah. No, the more I've been around the team, the more I've talked to some of the players, and the more I've just seen everything that goes on. A lot of the guys seem bought into the mentality of this team. They seem like they've gotten the message and they are ready to go. They seem like they are focused on that.
Yeah, that's a good observation by you. And you have a mix now with the portal area. So we have a mix of guys like Koutras, Swafford, Weedman, Cooney. I'm talking about 4 of our captains that have been here. Mm-hmm. And they've lost. They've been part of 3-8s and 4-7s, just really bad seasons and not having hope. Remember, there's a 12-year run before I got here with this new staff, new mentality of no winning seasons.
Yeah.
So that was ingrained in the program, that was ingrained in the athletic department, that was ingrained in the culture of Tennessee Tech football. So now you take a bunch of guys that have lost and you give them a taste of success and you give them a focus and a purpose, and those guys are hungry for more. And then you bring in players through the portal, a lot of them coming from other schools that they lost, or they didn't get to play.
Yeah.
So now we've got this mix of guys that are all motivated to do something they've never done before, never had this experience in college, and what we're trying to do is build on that momentum. Take all these guys from different backgrounds, different places. All of our staff's the same way. We've got a lot of staff from different places, and a lot of people have never been part of success.
Yeah.
And what I shared with the team is at this point we're 7-0. I've been doing this for 34 years. Only one time was I part of a start like this, and that was 6-0. So even for me, having done this 34 years in my 16th year as a head coach, this is the first time I've ever been part of an organization that's 7-0.
Yeah.
So you got all these people pulling in the same direction, or what we like to say, grabbing a shovel, jumping in the ditch and digging.
Yeah.
Doing that collectively together to do something individually we've never done before. And that's the internal motivation now of this program. Do something collectively that none of us have ever done individually. And when you have that mindset, and when we can keep everybody, which we are now, focused on the process of winning, now they're starting to enter a space that almost none of the previous 104 Tennessee Tech football teams have been to, in terms of the 12-game winning streak, the national ranking, only a few teams in 104 years being undefeated this far into the season. And those are all internal motivating factors for this team. The point I made to them is, you want to come back here 20 years from now, bring your son, walk into Tucker Stadium and say, here's what Dad was part of.
Yeah.
Those are internal motivations now for all of us collectively within the organization.
Yeah, I remember doing the Kutrus interview. He talked about that legacy and wanting to leave it. So I'm glad to see there's guys still like that playing football.
Yeah, that was a good interview
Yeah.
with Kutrus and what he said. You're right.
And next question I want to talk to you about was your time at Old Dominion. You were there a little over 10 years, right?
Right.
What was the most important lesson you learned during that tenure? I know y'all had some big wins there, like y'all upset Virginia Tech, right? What was the most important thing that came from all of that?
Don't trust the administration.
Yeah.
Did you like that one?
Oh, I do like that. That's funny.
No, there was so many great lessons learned from that experience. I learned early. I made so many mistakes early in my head coaching career.
Yeah.
What I first did on who I thought I needed to be as a head coach. What were my important factors? What did I believe in? Whether it was how I coached the team, how I mentored the team, how I hired coaches, relationship with the administration. I mentioned trust, being promised certain things and they didn't happen, which is never going to happen again in my career. That's why I'm so fortunate to have President Oldham, Casey Fox. We're all in lockstep on what needs to happen here to win a national championship. But you learn so many lessons when you're starting something new, and the lesson I learned is clear is kind. And what I mean with that is be very clear with everybody in the organization on exactly what the philosophy, the principles, and the goals are of the program.
Yeah.
Be clear with everybody. So it's not just the players. It's what I call the 5 pillars of a championship program. It's the assistant coaches, scouting department, operations, because we're all one unit. Then you've got strength and conditioning. You've got medical. You've got equipment staff, you've got academics. So from the course of the day, the players wake up at 5:30 in the morning and they may not be done with studying or tutors till 9 at night. Everybody that comes in contact with them has to adhere to the same principles, that aim high philosophy.
Yeah.
Everybody has to speak the same language. So being very clear in that regard on exactly what the plan is. We needed a really good scheduling model here, because the scheduling model when I got here was a disaster, playing back-to-back FBS just to make money, getting kids hurt, not having an opportunity to win. And they had done that consistently. We were supposed to do it again this year. We were supposed to play at JMU along with playing at Kentucky, and the president allowed me to change that model. And now look what a difference that makes to a program. Last year's team could have won 10 games, but we go to Middle, we go to Georgia, we lose 12 players, we lose the starting quarterback, we start 2-5. Then we get healthy and we get hot. So a lot of those things I learned from Old Dominion, just agreeing to whatever was told to me by the administration. I'm not doing that anymore. It's a very clear focus with the president, with the AD on exactly what we need to do. And now the entire university is going to see the benefit. And the last thing I'll say on that is the biggest reason I took this job was President Oldham.
Yeah.
and what his vision was. The man had been here 12 years, and all he had known was losing football. He'd never seen a winning team. And his vision to increase enrollment at the university, which we're one of the few four-year colleges in America that's growing in enrollment. This summer, we were named the #1 ranked public university in Tennessee. That's him.
Yeah.
That's his leadership. I've been doing this 34 years. I've never been around a guy that sees the entire chessboard like he does. And his plan to increase enrollment included winning athletics, starting with football. So we've been in lockstep on this plan. Casey Fox was specifically hired for his knowledge at Montana State, and they built a national championship caliber program. So all those lessons you learn going from when I started as a head coach to now, clear as can.
That's fair. Now, one of the things, I feel like this is a pretty simple question. There's really only one answer to it. What is the future goal for the staff on the team? What is the future goal? And I feel like the answer is winning, but what do you tell these guys every week? What's the future goal for the program?
Well, the ultimate goal football-wise on the field is compete for and win a national championship.
Yeah.
Now, it starts with the OVC, because you need to win your league first to get an automatic bid to get into the tournament. And then there's certain steps now. The way the FCS does the 24-team tournament with top 8 teams get a bye. And then they're into the round of 16, you get guaranteed a home game. But you got to start by winning your league. But the ultimate goal I want Tennessee Tech football to have now is we're going to compete for a national championship.
Yeah.
And that was never the mindset here. The mindset here was not compete and win championships, and that's the mindset we have now. Now, ultimately for the players, what I like to talk to them about is we take a little trip in my time machine and we go see them 10 years from now in their job. Where are they? What are they doing? So I always want them thinking about, I'm going to become a CEO of a company. I'm going to be a future leader of America. All right, between now and 10 years from now, how am I getting there? What am I doing? And I've firmly believed this my whole career. If a player feels good about themselves as a person, if they feel good about what they're doing academically, they're going to excel at football. Because they come over in the 53 by 120, that's their play place.
Yeah.
Everything else in their life is good. That's their play place. So ultimately, having them see success, become future leaders of America, and then collectively the goal, compete for and win a national championship.
All right. Well, I think that's all the questions I had for you.
You guys did outstanding.
Time for us to get back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Here we go.
One thing I'm going to ask you is, it is a good day to
have a day.
Have a day.
And we are back. Man, that was a great interview.
Whoa, what a great one.
Great interview.
It's just fun talking to him. That guy, he's a character.
Yeah.
And in a good way. That's not like he's a great guy. And he always brings energy. He always brings excitement. He's got some natural charisma to him, that's for sure.
Oh, I love his personality. He's a great dude. He's a great coach. And he's nice to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very nice.
We're students. We're student media guys.
We're just two dudes in a basement of a library talking about football.
Yeah.
And he treats us like we are legit news people, and I love that.
Well, he treats us like we're his friends. You know, like we're just his buddies that he's known all his life. And I really appreciate that. I have a lot of respect for Coach Water for that. I have since he got hired, not only for his on-the-field success, but just the way he treats people off the field, I think is something that does go unnoticed. So I have to brag on him a little bit right there, but man, just a good interview. He gave some really good answers to our questions. You know, you could tell he's been doing this for a while. He's used to answering these questions, so he was able to go into more depth. So that was good. That helps us out. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So that was really fun. But I guess we'll just go ahead and preview SEMO now.
SEMO.
He talked about it already. Coach Wilder did. He's like, this is a personal game. He talked about Michael Jordan.
We love Michael.
Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, all the best athletes that you know of have this mentality of, oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Bet.
Took that personally.
It's on now.
Yeah. He said, and I took that personally when thinking he was talking to you, and I just immediately, my mind went to Michael Jordan. I was
so
like,
did mine. Yeah.
So I'm glad to know that he's got the mentality of some of these top dudes in the sport, really.
Yeah. Well, that whole team has adopted that mentality. You know what I mean? That whole team, the whole staff, they're all, especially the older guys like Kutris that were here last year, and the older guys, like Theron Gaines. And I just immediately think to those defensive guys that they're going to be ready to play.
Yeah.
That's about all you can say. As far as the matchup on paper goes, SEMO can throw the ball. They're the best passing offense in the OVC statistically. However, their quarterback is not going to be Jax Leatherwood. I think he's still out. He got hurt early October. He was going to be out 4 to 6-ish weeks like I'm not a SEMO insider. I don't know if the guy's coming back this week or not. I don't anticipate him to be back because of the time frame that was given in early October. So if you go off of that, he's probably not going to be back for this game. So their guy is Johnny Weber.
Johnny Weber. He played a good game.
He's a good, solid player.
Yeah. Will he be able to keep that? Because a lot of times when you bring a quarterback in for their first ever game and there's no film on him, defenses kind of get confused. They kind of don't know what to do about the whole situation, and that usually allows these guys who are having their first start to actually cook a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But will Tech learn? They'll have one game of film, right?
They'll have a few, I think.
Has he been playing more?
He's been playing since, like I said, since Jack's Leatherwood. Since Leatherwood got hurt for SEMO, he's a great player, by the way. Since he got hurt, I think Weber was the guy moving forward, and he will probably be the guy this Saturday as well. Okay. So he's got a few games under his belt. So you do have some film on him, but we'll see how he responds. The thing that I'm interested in, and we can talk about these on paper matchups all we want to. You're going to have to put the ball down and play, but I will say this, that is warranted and worth noting. SEMO is last in sacks allowed. Mm-hmm. They allow way too many sacks. Last in the OVC in sacks allowed. Who do you think the number one team in sacks given is?
TTU.
It's Tech. They're get after the quarterback.
Yeah.
They do a really good job of that. So credit Coach Williamson and that bunch. They do a really good job of getting after the quarterback, and we'll see. I think Tech's going to have some dialed up blitzes for this guy. I think they're going to try to get after him. Weber, he's not their normal starter, so you would think he would get a little bit more flustered easily.
Maybe not.
Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe he's cool and calm back there. I don't know. I have noticed in going and looking at some of the box scores, he's prone to give it up. He's thrown a couple picks here and there. He had a pick last week against Eastern Illinois, which they dominated in that game, 42-13. That was their most recent game. So if you go off of that, you may think we're going to have a battle on our hands, and we might. Yeah. We just might. SEMO is still a good football team. I don't buy into their record and judge them off of that. They were good last year. They were good enough to beat us 34-3.
What you just said there is he's prone to turn over the ball. In my mind, we're talking about paper situation here.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about actual football.
Yep.
In my mind, I'm going to say this guy's probably a gunslinger, and he's probably a gambler. So I think Tech can come away with a few takeovers this game, especially guys like Andrew Smith, who is known for taking it back to the house.
Yeah, that's the thing about Smith. If he does pick it off, you better go tackle him quick because he's going back to the end zone.
He'll take it.
Yeah, he'll take it on you. So I do think Tennessee Tech, will be able to force some turnovers in this game. That's something to watch out for. Defensively, SEMO is not great on paper. Like I said, they allow over 30 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
Tech scores over 50 a game, and so we'll see kind of where the rubber meets the road on that one. I don't think Tennessee Tech's offense is going to have too much problem going into this game. I think they'll be able to run their offense pretty smoothly, get the run game going at first, see what you got there, use some of these receivers that you have. I mean, Tech's playmakers are so good. I mean,
there's a lot of them.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
That showed up this past weekend against Lindenwood. You had Tremel Jones had a really good day. He scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
Maury Sullivan scored another touchdoan. He's been steady Eddie all year long. He really has been consistent, and he's going to give you about 30 to 40 yards, and he's going to give you some first downs. Yeah, so he's been a good asset. And of course, Noah Robinson scored a touchdown late in the game. He is by far, he's probably got the highest ceiling of the receivers because of his athletic ability and his size. So he's just a monster to try to cover. He's a mismatch.
Yeah, I think this whole team is mismatches, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's kind of like some coaches they like to do matchup based situation and game planning and stuff like that. This team could do it. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, so I don't know if Coach Weiler does that or not. That maybe would have been a good question to ask him while he was here. But
let's call him and get him back down here.
Get him back in here. But we have a lot of guys and a lot of different builds, and a lot of different guys who have a different play style. So I think this team could take advantage of a lot of different matchups and mismatches.
I agree. They'll be without Tyler Wagner this weekend.
Yes.
He made an Instagram post. His season's probably done, and I hate that.
That's so tragic. Such a good guy. That he was really the catalyst that started all this.
I know it.
He got everything going. He got it moving. It's such a shame to see him go down.
He really started the whole the getting the guests on the podcast, and when he reached out to me that night via DM, he told Coach Wilder about it. You know what I mean? So it was like he's got a lot of credit to what this podcast has been able to do over these past 2 or 3 weeks. So I hated to hear that, but I know that he will be back better than ever when he does come back.
Absolutely, we will keep it in our minds. We'll
100%. We'll be rooting for that guy for sure. back to the actual meat of the podcast. We, SEMO this week, and then like you said, Gardner-Webb after that. It'll be homecoming. That'll be interesting. We'll see. Like we keep talking about, get pressure on Weber. You know what I mean? I don't have any doubt that they will be able to stop the run game. Because SEMO's not just they're not a very powerful run team, and Tech is unbelievably good at stopping the run.
Yeah.
So I think they will be one-dimensional. It's going to be a matter of this new quarterback, this Weber kid. He's going to have to beat Tech, not by himself, but he's going to have a really good day to do so.
Yeah.
And I think with the pressure that Tennessee Tech is able to apply to everybody, I think he'll have a rough time to do that.
Not only will he have to have a really good day, he's going to have to hope that Kakoa doesn't have a good day.
Yeah, a better day, right? Yeah. That's the thing about it. He's a hard one to beat.
Yeah, especially at home.
Yeah.
He cooks at home.
He does. Something about it. That home atmosphere, I agree. He'll light you up for 400 yards before you even blink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Overall, I think that's SEMO covered, though. There's not
I think so too.
Not a lot to talk about there.
Well, we talked about this before, we went into the podcast. We kind of plan our things out. The Coach Wilder interview is the main part of this podcast.
That's what people want to watch. I mean, they obviously want to see us talk about football because we're just that charismatic, and we got that natural chemistry and passion for football.
We're so funny too.
Oh yeah, we're hilarious.
Yeah.
But I think we wanted to cover Coach Wilder the most in this podcast, so I think we're going to keep the preview pretty short.
Right.
I don't think there's much to talk about. You can only talk about a game so much before it happens.
Yeah. Well, the bottom line is this: Tennessee Tech is 7-0. They've won 12 in a row. Nobody can touch them. SEMO, you're next.
Yeah.
This is personal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Step into the ring.
Yeah, come on down to Tucker Stadium. We got fun and games. But no, we can go ahead and cut to dude of the week now if you want to, Adam.
Yeah, let's do it. Who's your dude of the week?
My dudes of the week, they're kind of a pair. They're two guys. We're sticking to the offensive linemen, guys. I hate to do it to the rest of the skill guys, the pretty guys. I'm sorry, but we're sticking with the Hog Mileys. We got the Delk twins. Alex and Wes Delk are the dudes of the week to me, and I'll tell you why. Because Tennessee Tech went into Missouri against Lindenwood without both of their starting guards. Like we mentioned before, Tyler Wagner's out for the year. We hate that for him. They were also without Nathan Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
The two Delk brothers, Alex and Wes Delk, they stepped right in and played both guard positions and played it well enough to rush for 311 yards.
Yeah.
That's so impressive. So to be able to, have that mindset of next man up and to just plug and play like that, that's really impressive. And for those guys to go out there and perform as well as they did, given the circumstances, I think they absolutely deserve a shout-out for Dude of the Week. So congratulations to Alex and Wes Delk.
Absolutely. That next man up mentality is something that I know Coach Wilder preaches. Just given the depth that this team has, really.
Yes.
I know he talks about it a lot. He has to. So I think that's probably one of the biggest highlights from this week's game is you had two guys who were able to step up. They just so happen to be brothers.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
But for my Dude of the Week, I want to talk about an area of the game that doesn't get covered much. I talked about O-line. We hadn't covered them a lot last week. This week, I want to talk about special teams.
Mm-hmm.
You ask any head coach if special teams is important, they will look at you and say yes.
Yes.
They'll be like, absolutely.
Yes.
A lot of fans don't think special teams is all that interesting. They usually start texting on their phone during special teams.
They don't know ball.
That's
don't
what that
know
is. Ball. You know who does know ball? Eric Taylor.
Yeah, I like
Eric
that.
Taylor knows ball because he was able to not only block a punt, but he was able to disrupt on a different punt.
Yeah.
So there's two punts where he was able to get back there and make a real difference. And that's exactly what you want from a special teams guy. Because a lot of the time, special teams guys are usually you might have a few starters out there. Sometimes you'll have some backup guys. Eric Taylor, he has that special teams mentality that coaches want. They want guys who are ready to get fired up and get back there and make a play. Because some guys on special teams, they'll just do their assignment. They'll touch a guy, they'll block him a little bit, and then they'll get on with their business. They'll head back to the sideline. He was fired up. He was ready to go, and he got back there. And he made two very big, important plays.
He sure did, man. He made basically 2 turnovers in the game when you really look at it from that standpoint.
Yeah.
Special teams, like you said, man, it's so important. If you can make a big special teams play, that can completely shift the way a game goes for you. And like I said, he was able to make 2 of them. And a lot of times, like you said, guys on special teams just kind of go through the motions. Eric Taylor was relentless effort on both plays. You know what I mean? That was what was able to cause the block and the disruption of the other punt. And so, big shout out to him. He's a young guy, and like I said, he just plays with his he just plays like he's on fire.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta love that out of a special teams guy. So congratulations to the whole punt block unit because they all had a hand in that deal. But Eric was the one who actually made the play, so we got to give him the dude of the week.
Yep, those two good dude of the weeks. We're not basing dude of the weeks off stats. Okay, we're talking about impact on the game. And Coach Wilder, he loves doing that, doesn't he? He has those plays of the week, the grab your shovel plays.
That's right. Yeah.
So I think he'll love those 2 picks for dude of the week.
I think he will. That's all the time we have for you today. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you like more stuff like this, like Touchdown Tech Podcast, all the fans. Appreciate you guys for watching and listening, and we'll catch you next time.